Salut à toutes et à tous et bienvenue dans Séries saison 2, épisode 35. Cette semaine, on rend une dernière visite émouvante à nos amis chéris de Game of Thrones avant de retrouver le glamour et les tensions de Monterey avec les fabuleuses actrices de Big Little Lies. Après plus de 2 ans d'attente, ça y est, Big Little Lies est de retour. Nous en parlerons avec la douce Shailene Woodley qui nous a raconté son bonheur de rejoindre ses copines de tournage, Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon, Laura Dern, Zoé Kravitz, mais aussi une petite nouvelle, Meryl Streep. Mais avant cela, nous avons rendez-vous avec la réalisatrice qui a mis un point final à l'épopée Game of Thrones avec son documentaire The Last Watch.
Morning. How are the bones?
L'anglaise Jeanie Finley, spécialiste des documentaires musicaux ou sociétaux, a été choisie personnellement par la production de la série pour filmer le tournage de la saison 8 pendant 1 an. Elle en a observé chaque détail, du travail de fourmi des maquilleurs à l'attente entre les prises, aux inquiétudes des comédiens,
Who am I without this, then? I wonder.
sans oublier quelques moments improbables que seul Game of Thrones pouvait nous offrir.
Do you remember how you felt the first day you went on the set and thought, okay, I'm starting my documentary today?
There was a moment, probably 4 or 5 months into filming, that we did a camera test at Winterfell. And the snow machines were going,
Yes.
and the wind machines were going, the smoke was full and the lights were perfect. And I thought, oh my goodness, we're in Westeros now. So yeah, that was the moment really where, yeah, it really felt real.
No pressure?
Feel the weariness setting in. Tonight, Candy said, oh, only 14 weeks till we wrap. And that made it sound like, what? No.
I made The Last Watch in secret. The existence of the documentary was a secret. And that took a lot of the pressure off because no one knew what I was doing. There was no expectation. Chris Newman, the producer on Game of Thrones, says, you must never be intimidated by the feast. You can only eat the meal in front of you. So that's what we did every single day. Just try to, you know, take each day as it comes and find the film, really.
It's going to be amazing. If anybody dies, let me know.
My original pitch to David, Dan and Bernie was that, you know, the Game of Thrones is about 7 families fighting for the Iron Throne. Perhaps I could find 7 interesting characters within 7 different departments and I would follow their year, their challenge. Could they survive to the end on the biggest season ever of Game of Thrones? You know, the idea was that we would tell the untold stories. There's already a really established behind the scenes history on Game of Thrones where the actors talk a lot and, you know, you get to learn how dragons are made and how post-production magic happens. But I wanted to tell the emotional journey and I could only do that by finding brilliant people. So I had my eye out and then when I met the people that you see in the film, I knew they were the right people immediately.
What are the criteria that make you say, this woman, this man is going to be one of my storytellers?
I guess the criteria are people that aren't what you expect when you first see them.
Yeah.
So, and also that answer the questions. In Game of Thrones, winter is coming, but who brings the snow?
Exactly.
Well, we know now, because it's Dal the snowman.
It's just paper and water, and it does the job.
I always wanted an extra, because they are the unsung heroes of Westeros. And when Rachel Blair suggested Andy McLean, as soon as I met him, I knew that he was perfect because he just embodies the spirit of Game of Thrones and is lovely. He's a lovely, lovely guy, but is emotionally engaged.
My name is Aberdolf Strongbeard. I have fought for Stannis Baratheon. I've also fought for Jon Snow. That's where I currently find myself as part of Jon Snow's Stark army.
You have so very many emotional beats in between, some technical beats, I would call them like that. Yeah. And one of the most emotional scene being this reading scene where you see a family saying goodbye. And I was wondering, how do you know where to place your cameras at this moment? You know it's going to be emotional.
Yes.
And you know you have to be a fly on the wall.
We wanted to not disturb the cast so much. It was just me and my director of photographer, Mark, filming it together. So we each operated 2 cameras and we just wanted to have a small footprint so people could allow the emotions to come out, because I knew it would be a lot for people. Obviously, as soon as I heard that Kit hadn't read his script, I knew what was coming up.
Standing before the Iron Throne, Dani steps forward and kisses the man she loves, a perfect kiss. Their eyes closed, his hand behind her head, her hand on his cheek. Dani's eyes open suddenly as she draws a sharp breath. John's eyes open as well, already filling with tears. For a moment, neither moves, as if moving will make this real. We see John with his hand still on the hilt of the dagger he just lodged in Dani's heart. Her strength leaves her and she collapses to the marble.
I love David Nutter's idea that the journey is as important as the destination.
Yes.
And he is someone who he puts emotion into every scene that he directs. He's an incredibly emotional director.
Well, he says the show saved his life at one point in the documentary.
After directing seasons 2, 3, and 5, I had to step away for a couple seasons due to back issues, and I had a couple surgeries. So I missed it beyond belief. And coming back now, I appreciate it so much that the show saved my life.
I think that experience that he's been through really brings a weight and a gravity to the way that he directs, because he wants to bring emotion with every frame of what he's doing. And so thinking about David's story and how to tell it, I wanted to find the most emotional scene he would have to direct in the film, which is, of course, saying goodbye. And it seems so emblematic for the last watch. How do you say goodbye to these characters?
Yes.
So that's why we see David directing Sophie and everybody in the funeral pyre scene.
And realizing she still cries after cut.
Sophie's an amazing actress, yeah.
Did you have any conscience of the secrecy you were in? You were one of the people that was in one of the biggest television secrets ever. And how did you feel being in this sea of secrets?
It's exciting. I mean, I'm just so glad that there weren't any leaks that I was responsible for. You know, because I held all the secrets, read the finished scripts, you know, months before many other people. I mean, even the existence of the documentary was a script. Yes. So I didn't tell anyone. I told my hairdresser. And that's probably, you know, my friends and my family and my hairdresser. And I didn't tell anyone else because I didn't want it to get out. And it felt quite good. It felt very liberating to just make the work. Yeah. And not feel the weight of expectation. I could just simply make a film.
And you've told a story that the whole world has shared. Also, I suppose it's very different. Everywhere in the world, people know Game of Thrones. And you've told this story. I mean, you seem very chill right now, but how is it inside of your mind? Because
I'm just processing it. I mean, we had a hometown screening last night. Yes. At the cinema, Broadway Cinema, where I'm based in Nottingham in England, and it was just amazing to have Andy McClay and Del the Snowman were there, and I needed to say goodbye to the film, which is why we had the public screening. But yeah, I'm just getting used to it being out there. It's amazing.
Your watch has ended, and it has been a hell of a watch. I love this show. More than I think anything.
Well, thank you so much. I really feel like you did the show I wanted to watch. This is exactly what I wanted to know and to see, and the way I wanted it to be shown. So I loved it.
Thank you.
It was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Il y a 2 ans, Big Little Lies créait l'événement avec 7 épisodes au suspense insoutenable et au casting luxueux, parfaitement réalisé par le cinéaste Jean-Marc Vallée. 4 Golden Globes, 8 Emmy Awards et une longue attente plus tard, nos 5 héroïnes vont devoir faire face aux conséquences du meurtre qui a hanté la première saison. Shailene Woodley, l'interprète de Jane, nous en dit un peu plus sur ce qui les attend, un nouveau chapitre qu'elle résume en 2 mots.
Healing, important. I think it's very different. I haven't seen it yet, but I think this season's very different than the first season in a way. Obviously, they're now dealing with the aftermath of this big event that ended season 1.
We're kidding ourselves if we think people will stop talking.
You're one of the Monterey Five, right?
Monterey Five?
Just the way he said it, you know. How did he say it? Like we all have scarlet letters on our backs. It's gonna get us. It's gonna get us all. What are you talking about? But why?
You know, it's anytime there's sort of a cataclysmic event in our lives, we all react very differently. And I think what's very interesting about this is there was one situation that affected every single woman in the same way in its cause. But to now witness psychologically how that particular event has unfolded and manifested in their own minds, and how they've chosen to harness certain things, release certain things, stew in certain things, and evolve with others, is really what's fascinating about season 2.
This detective is just trying to put the pressure on us so that one of us breaks.
You don't believe my son just slipped.
It's incredibly contemporary, but I also think that it's nothing new. You know, we're not talking about anything that's novel in its interpretation or novel in its creation. These are issues: domestic abuse, domestic violence, single motherhood, you know, infidelity, women not getting along with other women, men not getting along with other men. Like, these are all subjects and themes that have been with us throughout the history of time. And I think that it's maybe one of the first times that it's been brought to the screen and displayed in a certain way. But that doesn't mean that it's anything new in concept. It just means that maybe there's now a space, because of modern reality and contemporary times, for us to discuss things on a social level that before was maybe perhaps considered taboo or something that was a little bit more shoved under the rug.
Et si le soleil de Monterey brille toujours aussi fort sur cette belle bande de femmes unies contre tout, l'ombre au tableau est incarnée par la star parmi les stars, Meryl Streep.
You were planning to leave him. And you learned of his infidelity just 10 seconds before he died. Oh, you left that out too.
Meryl Streep is a dream, truly. You know, she cares so much about what she does, and she loves what she does so much, and that energy is not only addictive and inspiring, but it's really empowering. Like, she really kind of presents herself in a way that empowers you to want to be better at all aspects of filmmaking, not just simply acting. We had an amazing relationship, every single person. I mean, to be honest, I think it was the first time that all of us have worked with that many women before on a project, or at least most of us. And so there was a sense of wanting to do it right and to connect in ways that were lasting and not temporary, because we all recognized kind of the rarity of the situation and what a gift it was. And then also, on top of that, and probably more importantly, we just naturally, you know, we naturally came together. There was never any kind of bumps in the road that we needed to work through. Everybody's very honest and open with one another, and that's rare.
Story Séries, c'est terminé, toute l'équipe part en vacances et on vous retrouve à la rentrée pour de nouvelles aventures avec, comme d'habitude, plus de séries, plus d'interviews et plus d'émotions. Reposez-vous bien et à bientôt.